In the data center, we mainly find three different media types. The first one is one that we're very familiar with, which would be the copper media type. A lot of people have already seen unshielded twisted pair cables that they use maybe at home or in other areas of the network. The second more common type is what we call multi-mode fiber. Multi-mode fiber is a less expensive version of fiber plant that we can implement in the data center, but a lot of times it doesn't go to the same distances that, for instance, single mode fiber would go. So a lot of times when we see single mode fiber, which is the third most common media type that we see in the data center, we see that being used for longer distances across multiple campuses or even across multiple cities inside the data center. Here is an example of some of the fiber media types. If you see that it says MMF, that means multi-mode fiber. And there's different standards around multi-mode fiber that you'll commonly hear, such as OM1, OM2, and OM3. In today's data centers, a lot of times you'll see OM3 and above, but you may still run into OM1 and OM2. For single-mode fiber, we see a little bit of a different standard, and a lot of times that's denoted by SMF, and we call that OS1. These different types of fibers have different speeds that they support, as well as different distances that they support. And the type of fiber sometimes dictates the type of transceiver that you will use in your switching gear to connect to that fiber. There are also different types of connections that you'll see on the ends of the fiber, and the most common connections that we see inside the data center are going to be LC and SC connections. In regards to copper media, we see a couple different types. Usually we see UTP, which is unshielded twisted pair, and STP, which is shielded twisted pair. The copper media types that you most likely see in the data center are going to be Cat5e and above. Usually the higher number that's associated with the Cat5 or Cat6 means faster speeds that we can support in that cabling. And as you can see, in recent years we've moved from 1 gig to being able to support 10 gig with copper cabling. The third type of cabling that you'll see in the data center is what we call fiber channel cabling, and you'll notice that fiber is spelled a little differently, and that's actually on purpose. That's actually the way it's been spelled for years and years in relation to fiber channel, not fiber cabling. And fiber channel is a protocol that we use in our storage area network. So your fiber channel cabling and these speeds will seem a little bit different than the speeds that you see for Ethernet, because fiber channel supports different set of speeds. In the past, fiber channel started with 1 gig, and every time they come out with a new speed, that doubles. So here you'll see 2 gig and 4 gig and 8 gig, eventually 16 gig and 32 gig you may see in your data center as well. But it's good to know what type of media that you'll see in your data center. It's also good to become familiar with these media types, as they may ask you on the test what speeds a certain media type can support. Please join me for the next lesson, 4.6, Examining Data Center Transceivers.